What's up, everybody? It's AJ with etrailer.com. Today we're going to be checking out the Malone Saddle Up Pro. It's going to be a roof-mounted kayak carrier. It's saddle style, so it sits right there in those cradles, flat on your roof. Let's check it out. So looking a little bit closer at them, when I said this saddle style, I just want to show you how it kind of sits in these cradles on your roof, nice and flat. Now these usually take up a little bit more space than another very popular roof kayak carrier, which would be a J style. So that one looks more like a J and has the part that juts out. So you kind of load that from the side, you lift up and set it in. This one you can actually load from the back of your vehicle. So you'll lean it up against the back pads and then push it into place. It'll hit these rubber stops here and it'll help stop it. So those are two different ways of doing it. J style is usually, I think, would be the more popular one because you can easily side load it and hook two kayaks on there. So if you're looking to carry a couple kayaks on your roof, that might be something to look at if that's what you want to do. But if you only got one and you don't have a bunch of different size kayaks either, because this one's really good for getting it set up into place once for this kayak, and then easily you can just load up from the back, slide on the pads, and get it tied down. Clearance would be another thing, the difference between the J style and the saddle. This one sits much lower than you would on the J style because the part of the J comes down and the back end goes up a little bit higher, plus the kayak's up on its side, so it's going to add a little bit more height to your roof. Another thing to think about would be your vehicle setup. So this one has a little bit more of an extension here on the roof. It sticks out a little bit more. You definitely want to make sure that you're going to be able to lift it up and load it up from the rear on your vehicle with the saddle style. You don't want to accidentally scrape this. This is kind of like a spoiler here. I wouldn't want to rest the kayak down on this and cause any damage, but we definitely loaded it that way. Another way we found out though is you can actually load it from the side if that wasn't easy to do from here, and we'll show you both of those later on. Another cool thing about the clamp-on design is how easy it is to get installed and the different variety of bars you can actually use it on. So you can use it on arrow, elliptical, round bar, square bars, and even most factory bars this clamp system will work with. So pretty much if you have a roof rack, it's going to work on there. I removed the kayak so we can take a closer look at the pads that make up the saddle. But first I want to show you how it installs. So you have the bolts that drop in through here on the holes on each side, and you have a plate that goes on there. It slides up on one of the holes. I went ahead and use the hand knob and put this one side on. Just makes it easier when you get up here. You don't have to fumble around with both of them. So you set it in place on your bar, try and match up each one where they are. That looks about good right there with the one behind me. And then you'll swing this plate over, and this part it's easy because you don't need tools, but it can be a little difficult if you don't know the tricks. So one of them is you want to keep your finger on the bolt so it doesn't push up when you push it with this plate, because otherwise I would do that and would push it up and out of the way, and then you'd be fumbling around with that. So let's line up that hole with that plate. I'm going to use my hand to hold that up. I'm going to try and keep my hand out of your view the best I can. So we can come back with our hand knob and put that on the bottom of that bolt. So just get it started, and I'll move my hand out of the way once it catches. There we go. So then just kind of go like this and tighten down evenly on both sides, and then that plate's going to push up on the bottom of your roof rack and hold it in place. There we go. That's got a good hold now, so I don't need to hold it, but just make sure you tighten it evenly on back and forth. You don't want to tighten one side too much and it tilts on you. Alright, so that's hand tight. I can shake the whole vehicle back and forth that way so we know it's secure. Once you got them installed, you look and see that you have the nylon padding on the back too here. You put that on yourself, it just slips over the rubber pad. So all the cradles are the same. You just have this extra pad that slides under there. So I just pull it off a little bit so you can see the rubber side underneath it. You can see it's the exact same as the ones up front. But the reason why this is back here with this hook and loop attachment, I'm going to go ahead and put it back on there. There we go. Is so that when you load the kayak from the back side, it's going to slide around these. So it'll hit this, and you can push it forward from the back, and it goes up here. Once it hits the rubberized part, it kind of stops when you're loading that kayak up. So that's just a feature to help you get this loaded and set up in place. Now I'm going to put the kayak up. I'm going to show you how to do it from the back side here. So you got it lifted up. use my head to balance it there for a second, and then slide it along those pads. So once you get on here, it's not so bad. I just push it forward. It slides very easily along those nylon pads, so I like that part. And then once it reaches up front, it's going to touch those other cradles. So it looks pretty good right there. Just make sure it's sitting in all the cradles. Maybe go up a little bit more. There we go. Seems seated just fine. Now we're going to try the other method where I load it from the side. Now this would be in case of, like I said before, you have a longer space here in the back where it's kind of harder to reach up and get the kayak in place, loading it from the back side. This side we just flip the cradles this way towards us. So I'm going to lift it up, set those cradles, and then just push it in. So just got to lift it up into place. Trying to get as much as the bottom of the boat on there as possible, and then push it up and over. Then you can just maneuver it from here. And there we go. Even without straps on there yet, I want to show you this. You can push it back and forth. It moves a little bit, but it doesn't really go anywhere. I'm pushing on it pretty good. It's shifted around, but it's got a good hold on that kayak. I like that. I think it's only reason it's slipping is because of the nylon here, but up here the rubber's grabbing on there really good. It has a good grip on there, and just pushing it back and forth, you see it's not moving or shifting on us. Now obviously we still have to tie it down, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. So we're going to do these straps that go around our boat and the saddles first. So go ahead and get that nice and straight. Make sure there's not any twists or turns in it. So we're going to try and pull an even amount on both sides. Make sure you run the strap underneath the roof bar and in front of the saddle so it can grab against that when you go to throw it over. Because what we're going to do is kind of make it a loop here and then throw the strap over to the other side. Now be careful with the buckle here. You don't want to throw that and hit your vehicle. One nice thing is it does have a protection pad here, so when you do strap it down to the kayak, it will not scratch or damage that. But just be careful when you're throwing it over. So I like to kind of set it down in the kayak and then reach it for the other side. So make sure this stays nice and tight as you can, like that, and now we're going on the other side. So I reached up into the middle of the boat, pulled the straps out. What I'm going to do is pull, so this side, pull on this side so that the buckle is making contact with the kayak there, with that pad in there, like I said. Then we'll do the same thing we did on this side, on the other side, on this side. So run that strap underneath, make sure it goes ahead of the saddle. It's going to help keep that in place there. And then once again, make sure there's no twists and turns in this. Looks like this one's quite a bit turned around. Looks good there. And we'll run it through the buckle. So go through the bottom here. And you can just pull it tight there. Make sure you get that twist out. There we go. You pull up and get it even tighter. I think that's good right there. So they're nice and tight. Oh yeah. Shake the whole car back and forth with these straps around there, so I know it's good. So then you can kind of just bundle up your extra strap and tie it to itself. Next up is the bow and stern straps. They're also included. So you just run this rope through the handle of your kayak like I did here. This end, they give you a hook. I tied a knot on there. Luckily we have a hitch on this vehicle, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that around the safety chain loop. Pull it nice and tight like that. Then I'm going to come back up here, grab this portion with my hand to keep it nice and tight as I can. Make a loop. Tie that around here, pull it through and down. just like that. And now we have this tied off. We're going to do the same thing at the front. Something extra to get that would be pretty helpful for you is a tie down point up front. So up here, I didn't have anything underneath. It's actually kind of covered up at the bottom of the vehicle. Sometimes you might have a tow hook up front you can run through. If you don't, it's okay. You can get like this dog bone. So this a bigger portion here that's foam is underneath the hood. You slam it down on there, and then the strap comes through here. So I can pull on this. It's not going anywhere. It's created a loop for us to attach our hook to and tie it down. So overall, what I'm thinking about this is when I'm going to go out there and kayaking, how hard is it going to be to install the kayak carrier itself? So the saddles wasn't so bad. You know, they go in there with no tools needed, so I like that part. You have the hand knobs on the bottom that you have to tighten. That's all you got to do to get those in place. How hard is it going to be to load your kayak onto your vehicle with these kayak carriers? Pretty easy. Loading from the back wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's kind of lifted up, make sure the center balance. You can even use your head to help you balance it out just to get that stabilized when you go to set in this first portion, and then pushing it through and getting caught on the rubber side was very helpful, so you don't have to worry about pushing it too hard and pushing it through or anything like that. It clearly hits that and there's more friction, so it made me feel safe. I liked it. It comes with all the straps you really need. The only thing, like I said, that I would recommend is getting one of the dog bones that go in the hood of your vehicle. If you don't have a tie down point up there, makes it far easier just to go ahead and get that part done. So overall, I think it worked really well. Now it does work with weight capacity up to 90 pounds, so this might not be such a good idea for the heavier fishing kayaks, especially if you have to load those up with your head and push them forward. I'm not sure if that's going to work out for you too well just because of how the saddle style works. Plus, if you want to carry more than one kayak, this might not be the way to go either, because you really only have room, as you can see, for one of these up here right now, where the J style would be better if you want to carry two kayaks. But then you're going to have a higher clearance and they're going to be up higher. So I don't know, kind of just goes with what you need or what you're looking for and how you're going to use it. Well, I think that does it. Thanks for hanging out and hope this helped.